Now, reading, writing, maths, throw in a bit of art and PE, the way we teach kids hasn't actually changed all that dramatically for decades here in Australia. It's a pretty regimented timetable. But what about the stuff you don't get taught at school? Tonight, we're going to take you to two schools that are doing things very differently and getting amazing academic results, and it could change the way you think about schools.
Happiness is playfulness and the opposite of horrible.
Happiness is family and friends. When you have a friend and they play with you a lot.
Doing what you like doing and not getting bossed around.
Just basically enjoying my life.
What we try to achieve here is an education of the whole person by thinking about the emotional welfare of children and their social welfare, as well as their spiritual welfare and their physical fitness. We actually believe that young people should be out there getting in contact with the world at close quarters. Did you both do the cooking or just Natalia?
I did it just well.
I started Candlebark partly out of frustration because everywhere I went I saw things done so badly and so destructively and damagingly. But I also saw things done really well. And I thought if I took everything that worked well and put it all in one school and didn't have any of the things that don't work, that should make for a good school.
At this school, it's just free.
You get to do lots more stuff here. Like you get to climb trees.
You can go wherever you like here pretty much.
You've got no gates. Basically got no gates.
The thing I remember most vividly from my own school days was the boredom. To the point where I really thought my brain would explode with boredom. I would sit in class just feeling I was going mad. I could never understand why education was so boring because nearly everybody loves learning. It was like the opposite of alchemy, really. Instead of taking something valueless and making it into gold, they were taking gold and making it into garbage. It's like a witch's costume.
This is yours.
I was a teacher long before I was a writer, and when you're teaching, and especially teaching in a boarding setting as I was when I started writing, you're virtually on a teenage island.
Yes, I know.
That was awesome. I was kind of absorbing the language of young people and becoming very aware of their interests. And I couldn't understand why they weren't reading. And then they would say to me, well, there's nothing I want to read. I've been to the library, but I can't find a book that interests me. So I thought, well, I'll have a go at writing one myself.
The dull old English school text got a much-needed shot in the arm in 1993 when Australian author John Marsden unleashed Tomorrow When the War Began. 6-book sequels followed, and with 2.5 million copies sold, reading at school was cool again.
One of the themes of Tomorrow When the War Began, and the reason those books were so powerful for teenagers, is that they were saying to teenagers that they had capacities far beyond anything that they were themselves aware of, and certainly capacities far beyond anything adults gave them credit for. So that's very much a theme of the school, that we can put far more trust in young people and give them far greater responsibilities than anyone generally does.
And this school, you're allowed to touch a stick. So
You can play stick wars.
yeah, the main attractment to the school.
This is the battles of stick wars.
We normally just find sticks and we fight with them.
Young people need to learn to look after themselves. So if we hold their hands, metaphorically speaking, and expect them to negotiate all kinds of difficult situations, then we're kidding ourselves. The secret motto of the school is take risks, but side by side with that is the idea that you also take care. We haven't had a serious injury, we've had a few skin knuckles and a few grazes and a few tears.
Just get wax here, but really like skin.
The main rule is that you don't really hit people. Yeah, you just hit their stick.
Everything flows into everything, nothing's compartmentalised. So if you play stick wars here, I think that'll help you if you're an adult negotiating in 20 years' time over some difficult situation or relationship problem. I think it all helps in making you a better equipped human being. Bryn, what's your clean-up? So be quick, please. For the last 20 minutes each day, the students clean the school, and we don't hire professional cleaners. The students do everything. Guys, you're meant to be a clean-up. Wait. And the reason for that is I don't like the idea that young people should make a mess and then walk away knowing that a paid adult will come in and clean it up for them. I think that's wrong. They should clean up their own mess and be responsible.
And the teachers are almost on the same level as the kids, which is really nice.
They'll talk to us kind of like we're adults. They'll give us big things to do, not little things.
Yes. They never keep on going, oh, you got that wrong. No, you got to fix that up. They just leave you to fix it up yourself.
What we find here, and this doesn't surprise me, but it was a relief when I realised it was happening, is that our kids academically are well in front of kids from other schools. And that's despite the fact that they spend less time in class than they do at other schools. The students here seem to get through to work much more quickly, and they seem to absorb it much more successfully. As a writer, I went to many schools and did workshops and talks and so on. Over the years, I saw the best and the worst of Australian schools. Most schools I went to were either too strict or a mess. They were chaotic, anarchic sometimes. But when I got to Fitzroy Community School, I realised that I had at last found a school where the best of both worlds was present.
The meeting hasn't started yet. Don't worry, it'll be very noisy once we get inside. What are we doing in art today?
Cut those apples.
Blueberries.
Those apples.
Those apples.
Well, my husband and I in 1976 decided we'd start a school.
It started because my parents looked around at a whole lot of schools and they wanted a school that did interpersonal communication skills and relationship skills.
So we wanted to raise children who were thriving, happy, fulfilled people.
They give you a lot of opportunity to look after yourself with no one really telling you what's okay and what's not.
At my old school, I always tried to make excuses to stay home, like I don't feel well. But now when I wake up in the morning, I'm always trying to hurry to get back to school. I thought I had a lot of responsibility there, but when I came here, I thought this was much better and I felt much more sure of myself.
You experience happiness when you experience your own ability and also your own ability to do good.
Like say a mum's taking a pram or something, someone will definitely go and open a door. That's a lot of responsibility, but I like it.
One of the most lovely ways we see it in school is the children looking after preschoolers and babies.
We get to see a lot of babies in the school and we get to play with them and it's really fun.
When, you put a baby in a room and a child picks it up, everybody becomes more kind.
Yeah, fistbump. What's next?
And simultaneously becomes more happy. Who here's ever been given a present by somebody and then been given exactly the same present again by somebody else?
Respect for each other is very important, and I think the meeting set the tone there.
Let's just do a demonstration how we give a present and how we receive a present, yeah? Life skills, getting along with your fellow humans, is our number one thing.
Happy birthday, Julia. Thanks. Wow, I really like it. Oh, I thought you might like it.
About a third of our day is maths and English and 2/3 is all the extra things, art, craft, drama.
I really like this school because you get to do a lot of art.
We don't have any classes at all on Wednesdays and we have lots of excursions and things.
On Wednesdays, every class gets a certain amount of money and goes to a shop down the road.
I think initially a lot of people didn't look at us, they thought, oh, probably lunatic French. However, we became much more public once NAPLAN results were published and we found that we were usually in the top 1%. This actually needs to come just up a little bit more. However, that was not our basic raison d'etre. Our reason was a happy childhood and one that prepared the children to take their place in the world today.
Yeah, I think the Australian school system's a very negative experience for many kids. So what we do is be very conscious of the journey towards wisdom and awareness instead of just concentrating on the journey towards knowledge. And Australian schools don't seem to have realised that there is a difference. And so they regard the acquisition of knowledge as the only reason for kids being at school. But knowledge and wisdom are very different things.
Our focus isn't on just maths and English because being a well-rounded individual is much more important.
Get that sense of like
I can do this, not the sense of, oh, this is going to be hard, you know?
We recognise that there are two journeys and that they need to both be treated with great seriousness and given great value.
If I'd been allowed to play with sticks at school, I reckon I would have negotiated a better pay deal for this job. That story was produced by Rani Chalier, and if you liked that story, make sure you come back next week, because it isn't just alternative schools that are pushing the boundaries, because we're going to visit one of the country's most prestigious private schools, which has put happiness on the curriculum as well.